For 4 years, someone posts the same thing. Every single day, blocks of encrypted code. No explanation. Then, overnight, the account goes dark. And the message left behind makes it worse. This is the story of r/A858. In 2011, a Reddit account with a random string of letters and numbers as its username started posting to a brand new subreddit. The posts were long, indecipherable sequences of characters. No captions, no context, no explanation. For nearly a year, almost nobody noticed. Then someone finally asked the obvious question: was this actually a code? Once people started paying attention, they couldn't stop. A second community formed, specifically to try to crack it. A mix of computer science students, amateur cryptographers, and people who simply couldn't let a mystery sit unsolved. They treated every post like evidence, testing encryption methods, archiving everything, comparing patterns across years of posts, and every time they actually cracked something, the mystery only deepened, because the decoded messages weren't dramatic. A quote from an obscure book, a piece of ASCII art shaped like Stonehenge, nothing that explained why any of this existed, which meant the real question was never, what does it say? It was, why is someone doing this at all? We'll come back to that. For years, the account barely acknowledged anyone. Someone was clearly sitting behind a screen, posting constantly, watching an entire community form around their silence, and they almost never engaged with it. That silence became part of what made it unsettling. Humans naturally search for meaning when something feels deliberate but stays unexplained. So people filled the gap themselves. Theories ranged from an elaborate government test to a hidden recruitment puzzle to pure trolling with no purpose at all. None of them could be confirmed. The account just kept posting, day after day, without acknowledging a single guess. Then, in August 2015, something changed. An account appeared in the sister community, seemingly connected to the original poster, but only reachable through the same kind of code breaking the community had been doing for years. When people finally decoded a way to ask it questions, the answers came back exactly as cryptic as everything else. One reply read simply, "We cannot disclose the purpose. A 858 will end when the purpose is disclosed or discovered." Not an explanation. A rule for how the mystery was allowed to end. Which meant, according to its own creator, this was never going to resolve on its own. Someone was going to have to force it. That moment came a few months later. The subreddit, which had switched between public and private for years, suddenly displayed one final message. The A858 project has concluded. You may unsubscribe. No explanation, no goodbye, no acknowledgement of the years people had spent trying to understand it. Just a shutdown notice, delivered like a system message. Many users refused to accept that as the ending. One wrote that they only hoped the project actually had a purpose, because at that point, not even that was confirmed. The real answer came almost a year later, buried in a single post titled "Some Closure." A moderator revealed they'd finally made contact with someone connected to the project. According to that contact, A858 had been funded by an unknown company for a purpose the poster themselves didn't fully understand. They'd simply been paid to post encrypted puzzles and manipulated text for years without ever being told why. When the funding was pulled, the project was shut down, permanently and almost entirely unsolved, so the mystery had a paymaster. It just never had a motive anyone could confirm. Officially, yes, but the account itself still technically exists today. And even now, new users occasionally stumble onto the old posts and fall into the same rabbit hole that consumed people for years. Some believe the real answer is still hidden somewhere in the unsolved messages. Others think the explanation we got is the only one we'll ever have: an anonymous company, an anonymous purpose, and a person who was never told what any of it was actually for. Which leaves one unsettling possibility. The entire audience watching this unfold may never have been part of the plan at all. For 4 years, thousands of people tried to understand something that was never built to be understood by them. When the answer finally came, it wasn't a revelation. It was a shrug from someone who didn't know either, and the company behind it has never said a word. Some online mysteries end with a villain, or a reveal, or a reason. This one ended with an anonymous invoice, an anonymous employee, and a community that spent years solving a puzzle that was never really theirs to solve.